visitors' comments? Okay, new business? Okay,
I'm here for some new business.
and you're on the agenda next.
Okay.
Mr. St.Laurant, about affordable cars, Greenwich Road.
Correct. Yes, I'm here to make an appeal to the Board of Selectmen for a non-renewal of a Class 2 used car sales and repair license for affordable cars located at 2089 Greenwich Road. It's owned and operated by Brian Gillespie. Mr. Gillespie has had his used car license in the state of Massachusetts revoked twice so far, starting in, let's see, sorry about that, where in 2018 it was revoked, and it was also revoked in Redlow in 2015. He acquires these business licenses with deception. He doesn't apply for a new business license after he's lost his first license. He comes in under the joint ownership of an existing business, so there's no new application filed with the town, and he's able to gain access that way and not answer questions about losing his license in the state in any prior instances. So he uses subterfuge to gain access to a license. He's been basically kicked out of Hampden County, and now he's operating in Worcester County. His scam that he uses is he sells junk cars, basically fixes them up so they have another 50 to 100 miles of use on them, and then sells them to unsuspecting customers with a statement on the title of sale that it's a consignment sale. So that removes him from any liability as being a dealer on the transaction. And he's acquiring these cars across 3 states, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. And he fails to do most business within Worcester County. He'll sell them out of the county so that it's harder for these people to track down how to get help. And he's really preying on really vulnerable people who are spending all the money they own for these vehicles, and they're getting stuck with them or being forced to take them to court if they can. In most cases, they can't.
What is your interest in this, sir?
I acquired property that had an open lease with Mr. Gillespie in 2021. This business had been in operation for a year prior to that with the previous owner, Mr. Edward Bamus, who is deceased. So we acquired the property with an active lease, and have since learned the business practices of Mr. Gillespie are basically deplorable. One other instance he had a porta potty contract with Parker's Portables to rent and maintain the porta potty, and he failed to pay the bills on that, and they repossessed the porta potty, and he has an outstanding bill of I think it's in the order of $1,050. I have a letter from the owner of Parker's Portable stating the poor business practices of Mr. Gillespie. The Hardwick Police Department's also aware of his practices. They're called out there to customer complaints when they handle this, but because he operates in a gray area with that sold on consignment stated in the bill of sale, the police hands are tied. They really can't do anything. So it's turned over to the court system. The State Attorney General's office has 2 current complaints since he's acquired the license from Hardwick to operate this business of customers who have been cheated. And
That's what we have in this packet,
yes,
correct?
that's the report from the State Attorney General's office. The letter from, I believe it's Paige Barker, is also in there regarding her outstanding.
That was a little tough to read.
Yes, I had a copy of a copy. That's the way I received
Yeah.
it from the investigator for the Attorney General's office.
Now, I know you came into the planning board about a year ago.
Yes, I thought you folks issued the license, and that's where I would have to go for this process. And it's been a long while since then of getting back to you folks, but I thought it imperative before you renew this license for 2024.
Okay.
We have had other complaints on this property in the past. There's been other complaints.
Do you have any questions? No?
All right, and one other thing I'd like to point out, if you see it's not fit to revoke or not approve the new license, if you could work with the Hardwick Police Department to keep a close watch on Mr. Gillespie in the future. There's some laws on the books for dealing with used car sales that give the police some authorities that they may not be aware of. I stated the laws in
Yes, you gave us
in the
links.
report.
Yes.
Give them the powers to go request his log books and see each vehicle that's bought and sold, the transaction of the title information, the previous owner and the new owner, so they can get to the bottom of this scam. And if you can't stop them from operating, hopefully you can at least stop this scam that he has operating. But that's my hope.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody want to speak on this?
I do.
Sir?
I'm the owner of Portable.
Mr. Gillespie?
Yes, I am. We go back about 2 years where you call the Board of Health on me and all these other departments that found me in no violation of anything, including the registry of motor vehicles. They've all came out to my property. They've inspected everything. He also brought up Ware. Ware tried to revoke my license. I took them to court. They lost. It was reversed. I can show you that if you like. My license was not revoked in the town of Ware. We transferred it from Ware to the town of Hardwick. And he's been trying to get me out of there. His lawyer sent me certified mail a year and a half ago, threatening me that I can't be on the property. He's called numerous people trying to have the business shut down. They want to break the 10-year lease that we have. That's what this boils down to.
How long is your lease to run?
10 years.
How long is it to run yet?
7.
How many cars do you have on the property?
Approximately 24 right now.
Has the building inspector been to speak with you?
Yes, he has. And he gave me a clean bill of health. So did the health department. They called me within 20 minutes, opened the building. I didn't hide anything. Said, meet me there right now. They came up there, looked through everything, took pictures. After text messages, they said, just continue business. You're doing nothing wrong. So,
Anybody?
Is this a zoning board of appeals kind of thing? Is it special permit? Or
It is a
just-
special permit. It was
Special
initially a
permit.
special permit.
A special permit too, it states that only 10 cars can be parked in front of one of the buildings. And we've had over 50 on the property at one point.
I can get the decision if you want to read the decision and see what's actually in there.
Might be helpful.
Thank you.
If I could make a rebuttal to Mr. Gillespie's comment, as far as losing his licenses, I referenced 2 news articles from the Springfield Republican that state he's lost his license twice in Hamden County.
Well, we're not, we're not a court. We can't
I
track
understand.
that down, but
if I may, Chairman,
I'll-
I'd just like to clear this up because it's on public record.
what?
In what year was that, Brian?
Ooh, sorry.
Okay, but then you lost it the next year.
No, it was reversed. I went to court in
All
March.
right, everything gets directed at the chairman.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
So you had a porta potty on site?
I had a porta potty that I rented, that I ended up buying 2. That's why we stopped the contract for,
So you have facilities on
I have
site?
2 of them now.
Okay.
I had 1.
Because the building doesn't have anything in it,
Correct.
correct? The garage
They
area?
promised to fix the water and heat over 2 years ago, and they
Okay.
never did.
And so now there's 2 units there?
Yes.
Okay.
Those aren't getting along.
Do you want them all, or do you want me to read? What do you want me? So, notice of decision, certificate of no appeal, then there's the notice of the special permit and the notice of the decision. So, this was done in 2002, and Ed never recorded it. I believe Mr. Gillespie recorded it in March of 2020. But the notice of the special permit and the notice of the decision,
Planning board approves auto body repair shop. License must be obtained from the Board of Selectmen
to sell used cars.
to sell used cars.
So it doesn't limit
there's nothing in there about
vehicles
limits.
and the permits don't. Our permits don't limit, do they?
I thought the original
I thought there was
special
something that-
permit had drawings and...
The drawings say,
They call out the vehicle count.
right, but if it's not listed on the special permit,
There's nothing else in there?
I don't think the bylaw says anything.
The bylaw doesn't show anything on it.
I mean, for number of cars.
right? Because I think this was one of the complaints was a year or 2 ago
Yep.
about the number of cars.
If I can, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
15 of those cars, he inherited on those properties, so 15 of those cars, Ryan from the clerk's office can vouch, they came from the other side of the property, and now are placed on my side, and he refuses to get the titles and stuff for them, so 15 of those cars belong to them.
We were never told
Yeah,
those
but
cars
he-
were ours. He owns all those cars.
He was clarified by the town and the police department those cars are his, and his attorney.
Nobody clarified anything.
Even the building inspector, you can ask him, when he
Who
came out there,
clarified
All
what?
right, right.
he has to speak to the chairman, sir.
That's what I think.
I don't know where we're gonna go with this.
I don't
What do you
know.
wanna do?
I just want to make you aware of his business practices.
No.
They're
I
deplorable.
understand.
If you choose to issue his license, there's nothing I can do. I've warned you of his business practices. That's why I'm here.
When do we issue licenses?
December
Next
11th.
meeting, 11.
I don't know if the number of cars is on the actual license.
I don't believe that,
I don't think.
No,
I've
it's
never
not.
seen the number
It's
of
not.
cars in any
It should
plan.
be declared in the special building permit, which had 3 drawings, which called out 10 vehicle parking.
No cars. Yeah. No vehicles, no number of vehicles, which should be on my last 2 towns, all the numbers of vehicles. But they also had to do site plans, and we don't have any site plans here.
Something to think about, but it's nothing that we can,
Right.
it's not enforceable unless it's somewhere. You know, I mean,
Feel like we're in a dispute between tenant and owners here.
Correct.
Yeah, because it's a
Um,
civil matter, exactly.
right. Not sure it's really our jurisdiction.
Well, I'm
There
afraid
has to
it's
be a jurisdiction
it's
somewhere
jurisdiction.
between car sales and junkyard, and I feel strongly he's crossed the line there.
Motion to take it under advisement.
I would make that motion to take it under advisement. And maybe just try to really make sure there's nothing we're missing.
The only thing I can say, it's a
Between
class 2
bylaws
license,
and-
which means you cannot have junk cars. You can only have used cars for sale, or that are being repaired that you sell, but there cannot be junk cars. So if there's a cars with like no engine in them, that's not allowed
That's junk,
in a
right?
class 2.
We should talk to the cops.
Mhm.
So,
Before our next meeting.
did you make a motion?
I did.
I'll second your motion to take it under advisement.
Okay. More discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. We'll work on it. Thanks for coming in, Mr. Gillespie.
You're welcome, Chairman.
Mr. Korzec, Capital Planning Committee recommendation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Capital Planning Committee's been meeting since July on a regular basis, once a
Just
month.
ask them to come up so then
In our
we'll get 'em.
phase,
Could you come up to the front so that you can be on YouTube?
makes me a star. Do I get a
Looking good.
Okay. We started a phase 1 program with asking all of the departments in the community to give us their capital needs over the next 5 to 10 years. We were really broad about that. And so we've got 9 departments that have sent us a tremendous, robust wish list. 2 other departments have not yet, but has expressed an interest to get them to us. We have an active review of a fire truck proposed for the fire department for December 18th. That's our next meeting, so I just want you to be aware of the fact that that's when we will take that particular aspect up. I think you've already discussed it, maybe on your, I don't know if your board has, but it's a $1.65 million truck that proposed by the fire chief. We also took action on a police cruiser. It was a police cruiser. I don't know how much that has been told, but the capital committee said it would be fine because we voted on it. It was an expense that's mandated for our input, and then we also put the caveat that that would mean the reduction of 2 vehicles out of the fleet of 7 that they have now. So they have 7 now. They're going to buy an 8th. We've asked that they dispose of 2. Okay, that'll leave 6 cruisers still on the asset list and that are obviously operating. We also, just as a side note, we received a request for an emergency repair from Ann on the town hall, the town
Old Town,
townhouse. And while it's not within our jurisdiction because the expenditure has to be over $25,000 for a vote, we did get quite involved in that and had a lot of involvement in looking at what they needed to do and how important it is. And I would just tell you that the board supports whatever Ann's asking for. If you haven't seen that, if it's not on the agenda today, it will be coming to you very shortly. But what I'm here to make is 2 recommendations that the Capital Planning Committee voted on, and the first one is on the Ruggles School Building. The annual town meeting of June 22nd, 2013 the town voted to put $4,000 for the purpose of preparing that property for sale, in whole or in part. The $4,000 was for title search, surveys, obtaining an accurate description and a Title V septic review, and to decide whether and to put it into 1 or 2 lots, because on that same property is the town of Hardwick's water supply. When you look at that, the 2 parcels, the ice rink, the old ice rink and the school building is 2.63 acres. The Hardwick well and emergency generation house building lot is an additional 10,320 square feet. So they're, in the survey, they split that property in 2. So as I give you our recommendations, just understand that there are 2 aspects of that. The annual town meeting for June 22nd authorized the select board to proceed with the sale of all or part on terms and conditions that were in the board's determination to be in the best interest of the town. So the decision is totally yours what to do, but the town is asked to sell it. So there are some things that the Capital Planning Committee want to recommend to you. We're advisory, so what we say is, of course, only subject to your whim. We voted unanimously to proceed as instructed by the town by meeting, by the town meeting, by issuance of an RFP. And there are 4 points that the board must consider, your board must consider. Number one, what might be in the best interest of the town? So for example, but it's not limited to, I mean, things like putting it on tax rolls versus giving it to a non-profit, just things like that. But and then the use obviously would be determined by special permit in many cases. If it was commercial, maybe if it's multiple residential units, don't know, but that's something that you'd have to determine. The use of an RFP, and this is a question that you're going to struggle with, should the RFP be issued and managed by the town, or should the select board request RFPs from real estate brokers? Having one realtor work on behalf of the board in the best interest of the town is still being protected by your board. Number 3, since the Ruggles School is providing storage rental income to the town, it would be prudent to notify the renter of the pending cancellations of that rental agreement and advise the renter of a date to vacate the premises. And number 4, the board should decide whether 2 parcels will be sold or just 1. That's our first recommendation. Obviously, there's those 4 points, I think, is something that you guys will have to work on and decide.
Do you suggest that we sell the well?
Well, if you sell the well, you're actually selling the waterworks then, I guess, as an entity, as a business. So I'm not sure that I'm in the position, or the board was in position to make a recommendation either way. So, but you have the option. The well is a separate surveyed item.
Right.
Everything, the Title V, as I understand it, no longer required because you're now in the sewer district. The title search was done, and a rink was included in the 2.63 acres that go with the school. So we chose this as the first building for asset within our community because it'll be a good trial balloon on how we should handle others that we'll be bringing to you in the near future.
And I feel like we had an RFP on this building
Years ago.
years ago.
Well, 2013, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Isn't there like something in the deed if the town is done with it, it reverts back to the mixture?
No. This is the Ruggles School,
Yeah.
not the Paige building. So the Ruggles School is on Ruggles Street, and that would
I
be,
know,
yeah, all right, okay, yeah, that has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
And that was what the title search,
Clear title.
there was a clear title on that already, so we're ready. We're just making that recommendation that you ought to take
Well,
action on.
because of feeling like we're feeling right now, chicken to do anything about it.
I'll sell it in a heartbeat.
But I feel like we put it out there.
But maybe the way you put it out
Yeah,
for
I'm not
bid is
sure
the
what
problem.
the-
I mean, if you gave it to a real estate agent, or
Yeah.
look for RFPs from a real estate agent, they might bring you multiple offers.
That would be the question.
Yeah.
And
I seem to remember at the end, before Nicole came,
Right.
that they had called the DEP in to decide where the line should be to protect the water there. So I'm not sure if the DEP ever said anything.
Well, the surveyor did delineate very specific lines of 10,000 feet or 20 feet, of which some is the frontage on
Probably
Ruggles
why,
Road. Yeah,
yeah.
so I'm assuming that there was some rationale, and maybe that recollection on your part might very well have been why those lines were drawn. But I think we could go to the assessors and find out if they know anything more.
yeah, and if it's on sewer, it's not going to be a problem with putting in a well.
So there's multiple
Parking or
opportunities.
something.
There's multiple opportunities for that, but I think the key thing is the town said to sell it. The board has the best interest for the community at heart, so what it's sold to do is totally up to you guys. But we would recommend it. It would be a good thing to learn, because as we deal with other buildings that the town hall has already voted to sell, like the Gilbert building down the road here and the Paige building, we might learn something from this. This seemed to have the cleanest opportunity with not much controversy on how we could proceed to sell it.
So, what do you think?
It's fine.
I'm pretty sure I agreed to sell it once before, so.
Well, I'd recommend, I'd seek a motion to hire a realtor, get involved with
So
some.
put the request out to a realtor, is how you were,
I guess the thought process, I guess the last time you created one and the town was to receive proposals from interested parties, but
That
what,
didn't fly.
it didn't fly very well to the best of my knowledge. So maybe the best thing to do is to get a realtor who will tell you approximately what it might be worth, have some, some connections with potential purchasers that might be best for the town and best for the neighborhood and obviously
you have to put a request
acceptable
out
to
for
you.
that, is what I mean.
Well, yeah, we might
Right.
have to put an RFP out
Right.
to realtors instead of the
Can we just
world.
auction it off with the rest of our estate stuff? Or tax title estate stuff? Can we just add it to the auction?
Do we have anything ready to do that with?
What do you
Properties
think?
to auction? I don't think so.
You're not gonna get,
We just auction off the liens, we don't actually
Right.
auction
Yeah.
off the properties.
I think we should keep it
But-
clean, go do one thing at a time.
I don't see a bucket of gold here. I agree we need to get rid of it because I see it just being something that's gonna cost us money again.
If a real estate agent can find you 2 interested parties, that's the size of your bucket of gold.
right,
If he finds 5,
you never know.
you never know. You just don't know.
They have resources to find people,
We don't.
right?
Right.
That's what they
Not
do.
everybody
That's what they do.
needs to wear river news, so I'm gonna guess that
You're out.
you're in a very small
Right.
market when you're doing it that way. I mean, it's good business to do that.
Well, it's true that we found several buildings in town that need new roofs. So.
And this is one of them, so that the longer you go, the probably the
cost
more
us.
So,
more damage you'll
again,
do.
so my question again is, do we have to put a request out for a realtor before we,
You just call the realtors and ask
Or
them to
do you-
give you a market report.
so that's what I'm asking, like, what's the,
Can we do that with several realtors?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I would recommend a commercial real estate broker,
Okay.
and there's several in the area that would.
You may not be able to offer it as commercial property because you would need a special permit for the planning board,
Or
right?
is it-
So,
Is it
the-
commercial space, or is it?
It's not
It's-
right
It's
now.
not zoned.
it's
Yeah.
not,
It's
no.
not-
it's in, what's that zone, Eric? Do you know
Well,
what?
it's either village or R40.
Yeah, it's either way,
So it's
it's,
pretty close.
Residential
Yeah,
renters
it's-
also
it's-
sell commercial
it's
properties.
Yeah.
I can call them most local and get several reports.
Can I get
I
a
did
motion
reach out
to
I would
do-
make a
One
motion to
didn't
move forward with that.
Respond.
Second that.
More discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All right, you can,
Yeah.
make contact.
all right.
See how it goes.
Second recommendation from the capital planning committee recommends that a comprehensive asset list be compiled by the town. This is to include all real estate properties owned by the town, that's land, buildings, and bridges, and all capital property, vehicles registered in large capital assets by department that have a tangible value. Currently, there is no asset list in town. And I think we need one, it's just good governance. And so the committee recommends that we take this kind of seriously and try to put together, you'll find there's properties we didn't know we had. The best example of that is that Schoolhouse 6 on Route 32A across from Stillman's. We own that. We don't insure it. It's accessible to the public. So,
I didn't know we didn't own it.
yeah, so, I mean, how many other properties do we have like that in town? I don't know. But it'd be worth our while. And bridges are a great example. I didn't realize that bridges in town are assets of the town and are required to be maintained by the town. If there's a problem, you can use Chapter 90 funds, obviously, but sometimes a bridge can go out for a long time and could be very costly. So it'd be good to do that. I mean, we need to start looking at what we own as a town.
So we could have all the departments list their own assets, and then we could check it with reality, see how it is. Doesn't have to be on you.
Well, we have, again, we do have an insurance list of all of the assets, and the biggest departments, you know, with the most vehicles is police and highway. And Lori, every year, looks at it to make sure that they have, those are the vehicles that they have.
But that's a little separate from the fact that it's tangible assets. In other words, if you've got an insurance policy on a vehicle that's registered, that's one thing, but do you have something that isn't insured, that isn't registered, and does it have value? Well, I don't know.
So, I mean, we can start with that list, but yes, there are, again, I know we talked about bridges, you know, the $8,000 container that Christine bought, you know, that's an asset, that's definitely worth
Yeah.
something. I
Things
would
that
have
we're
to,
planning to auction,
Yeah.
all those things.
I'd have
let's
to go to
just-
Jen and get a list of what Hardwick owns, you know, the owner of Hardwick, and make sure that we have that on that list.
Well, are you proposing to help build that list?
Well, we'd be more than
Right.
happy to help
I
build
mean,
that
so-
list. I mean, that's, the part is, we
Let
don't even know
them,
how
yeah.
many bridges are in town covered by
Yeah.
this. We don't.
Well, I think Marty does. I mean, you're right, to get it in a central location is very
It should
important.
be,
Yeah.
yeah, right. Because if you're gonna have an auction and it's on your asset list, that's a good thing to know. That's a great way to manage your asset list. But if you don't have it on your asset list and you put it at auction, do you have to put it at auction, or can you just give it away to somebody? Can you just sell it on the side? I mean, that's potentially what would happen if you don't have an asset list. Because right now you don't know what you don't have.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
You just let us know how we can help you.
Robert, you want to cross-examine him?
I did ask Martin to put no trespassing signs on Schoolhouse 6.
But I think we should take that down too, sweet.
I have not seen it. I
It's,
didn't know it
it's
existed at all.
really bad.
It's heading for the ocean.
It's bad.
Thank you for the
Okay.
work you've done there.
No problem. We'll see you as soon as we get the rest of the items locked off, but if we can help you in either way with the transfer of that property or with the building the asset list.
Well, we'll keep you informed about the Realtor
Okay,
stuff.
good, great.
Yes, Ham?
Could you check with the historical commission
Yeah.
in case they want some posts or something
In
from?
fact, I've already been, yes, they've already communicated with me, don't tear it down without a representative of historical, so
Okay, thank you.
absolutely, sure. Somebody found some things in there, actually, so,
Yeah.
good. There was a question.
That was actually my same question, just making sure that the Historical Society has expressed interest in parts and pieces of that, based on conversations with
Right.
As
them.
long as they don't go in the building.
What's
Because-
that?
Yeah,
As long as they don't go into the building, because.
No, I think it's,
dangerous.
I mean, they're
It's
talking
very-
about
very
the door,
dangerous.
or, you know,
I think
and
Jenna
as
said
it's
some
being
of the
taken
stories
down,
and
I
stuff
think
in
such
there.
assets that I would appreciate, not,
I had
I'm
the
putting your
client-
name down, Warren.
what's that?
I'm putting your name down.
Fine, I'd be more than happy then. I'll take the banner down that I put up 5 years ago.
All right. Then, okay, thank you.
Okay.
Do you want to take the committee report to Scott's here? And then, because he had some comments in his report about the RFP.
Sure.
Before you do the RFP.
Good. Scott, you want to do a department report? And anything else you have to say?
I just was on the side, kind of just got it.
Sure.
And I read it super quick, I saw his email, but now I can't find it.
I didn't print myself out one, and I could put it right here, right next. Oh, here it is.
We did have a tour of our facilities by the EPA and the DEP. They wanted to see everything before the upgrades are done. Neither one of these gentlemen had ever been to our facilities, so they both checked it out. And it went good. We did have the alarm system at Wheelwright upgraded so that we have more than a power outage alarm, which we are supposed to have. We put probably 20,000 into that a few years ago. To no avail. It didn't help anything, so I had a new company come in. Actually, the original company I wanted to hire back then 3 or 4 years ago, and they were able to do it in a day and a half. So we do have access to all alarms now. And I do want to reiterate my opposition to the oversight during the construction. I know I've talked to you about it, Eric, but I think we have enough oversight on this project. We've already completed the digging at the first leg of it, and there were no issues. And I just think it's money that we don't need to spend on that. We have USDA, we have the town administrator, we have me, we have EPA, DEP. We're not going to make the same mistakes that we made before.
All right.
We did have an odor complaint again at High Road too. I had the plumbing inspector, what's that?
High Street, High Road.
High Road, 23 High Road,
Good.
which is right at the end, near 32A.
Okay. Right. Got it.
And I mean, he says there's odor coming up through his drains, which means there's a problem with the traps in his house. And I did talk to plumbers and our plumbing inspector about this. He verified that that's true. The homeowner is not happy with that reply, but there's a problem with his plumbing and he needs to fix it because it's not good to have sewer gases getting into your house.
There was something about how his stink pipe was hot.
He said his stink pipe was hot too on his roof. I have a feeling maybe he's grabbing the vent from his furnace, because there's no reason why the sewer vent pipe should be even warm.
Right.
The sewer is about 50 degrees all year round.
Right.
Unless it was on fire, it wouldn't be creating heat. But I haven't gotten another reply from him after laying that out. So.
All right. Thank you. All right, we have an award, a Justice Assistance Award. Should I read this?
You just have to accept it, because anything over $5,000 you guys have to accept. This is a typical every year, the police apply for the JAG award, JAG grant.
And this year they got it. So the Hardwick Police Department has been awarded $35,126.58.
I would make a motion to accept the Edward J. Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant for $35,126.58.
Second that.
Discussion? All in favor? All right. Okay, RFP Peer Review. Not to ignore what Scott was just saying. Should we proceed, since we're ready with legal and all, to put it out there and see what we get? Do you have a copy of it?
Looks like this, it's like half a page.
Yeah.
I would move forward.
You would what?
I would move forward.
I think that's
Is
a
that a
motion.
motion? I'll second that. And I do hear you, I do. And I do feel for you, and I can respect what you're saying. I just, and
I'm saying it as
know-
a taxpayer, I'm not saying
And I
it as
know,
a
yeah,
superintendent.
and I do, and I just feel like, because we've been burnt before, you know, I think that's still our stance, is that.
Yeah, I mean, my reasoning is that we had no oversight before.
Well, no, we had an operator that we hired and we had an engineer that we hired. But that didn't work out, so. But other than that, we had nobody.
We have a superintendent, we have the DEP, we have the EPA, we have the USDA now. That, I mean, to me, that's a big difference. I hate to see money thrown at this. I don't see what they're really gonna do for us.
Well, let's see what they say.
Yeah, let's see
Let's see
we
what they
get.
say, and see what we get back, and then, doesn't mean we have to, you know, let's just at least explore the options.
Right, we're ready to go, it's vetted.
Yeah.
You'll be in the conversation if we
Yeah.
move forward with it, so.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
All right. So, did we vote on that?
I think I seconded the motion, yeah. we
Okay,
did.
all in favor?
Yes,
Aye. Discussion regarding fire chief replacement due to retirement. So, I've been speaking with Ray and Josh, who's the deputy chief, about Ray's upcoming retirement. And Josh is willing and I think able to step in. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I don't know what, I think at this point, we're gonna have to, whatever we decide to do, we'll have to lean on Josh to.
As an intern.
Yeah, and I was suggesting to him that we, again, I haven't had this conversation with you guys, but, you know, wait 6 months, see how it goes. We have a crew, we have a fire department, and they seem to like him. And I worry about, I personally would not want to bring somebody in from out of town, because that can go crazy.
I have concerns. I think he's young. I'm not sure, you know, his experience. And I have concerns with their existing inability to work with the town hall. So I have concerns there.
All right, what suggestions do you have?
I don't know. I just, those are definitely my concerns. I don't know if, you know, if there's a meeting to be had and we all sit down and really make that clear, because, you know, it's difficult at best for Nicole to work with them as a department. And I can respect the fact that there's a strong chief and that's what we all voted on and that's what it is. But you still should be able to work. Nicole could probably help them a lot with grants and everything else, and there's,
Well, and a strong chief doesn't mean that they are autonomous from the town. They still fall under the Board of Selectmen, which is
Sure.
first every day under me, that I don't really get any communication. That's just been how it's gone.
I have some reservations. I like Josh, and he's a good guy. I don't know if maybe we should have a discussion with another town. I think the chief of police, chief of fires, all these guys are becoming, they have to be more educated, they have to be more on their game, they do more inspections. Is Josh gonna have time to do it? Because currently he's full-time
Police officer.
police officer. Over the last few years, we've been okay getting away with Ray. but we have that whole inspection part of Ray's job that's pretty important, and that's getting pretty technical, pretty a lot of liability. I'm willing to give Josh some time in the seat and see how he does, but I'm not sure we should put feelers out there to see what our options are. If any other town wants to jump in with us with the chief
The shared.
and do like
I
a
know we had
shared
talked
thing.
about that as well, this, few years back, just as we were discussing shared services.
And again, this is probably a conversation, if Josh was in the room, he could kind
Well,
of,
that came up, and I think, I just thought, this isn't a job interview. We needed to
Yeah,
decide.
for us to have a conversation
what we're-
first and
the way we
then
wanna
move forward,
proceed.
yeah, yeah.
So, well, I know, to speak for him, he's taken the firefighter 1 and 2, and he's been doing the deputy job for about a year. And Young is, New Braintree was 19 years old, Dennis Latender, when they made him a chief, so it's happened.
No, I know, I just,
But still, I'm not arguing for him.
just to experience,
We have to-
I look at Ray and Bobby Goodfield before, there was years of experience there, you know that.
Yeah.
And so I just, and again, the whole technical side of it, you bring up a really good point.
we're in a different, even when Ray got on, we're in a way different world,
Yeah.
and Ray will admit to that.
Yeah.
He's,
Yeah,
I know I had a lot of conversations with Bobby the last stint he did, and he was surprised at how much things had changed
yeah.
when he stepped in for a while.
Yep.
So
Yeah, those guys were in their first computer. Charlie Lowell brought the first computer into the office. It was like a big yuck. So,
I'll be more than happy to stop by and talk to him too. I can have a one-on-one discussion with him, and follow up with what you had, and just to see what their thinking is, and see what, be able to talk to him kind of privately. I'd like to do that, just to see what Ray's feelings are. It's all gonna be public at some point, but I don't know what other options we have right now, because Ray has to be done in
December 25th,
yeah.
so, yeah.
So we only got a
Christmas.
month.
Well, and at that point, the deputy steps up and is acting, and we have mutual aid, and they do know each other. I don't know the guys on the crew anymore.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll look into that a little. I have it on good authority that they're all happy with Josh, but let me,
Yeah, and I'm not trying to rock the boat, but is there anyone else that's interested in it? And again, I don't know the crew either, so I have no idea what I'm saying, as far as people. So I guess
let's
maybe,
individually, let's look.
let's just make sure that that's,
I want to make sure he is willing to commit to, if that's the way.
I
we
got
wanna
the
go.
sense that when he was here last time, I did get that sense, 100%.
A year ago, I didn't
Yeah.
get that sense.
So,
He seemed ambivalent, but
mm,
we'll, let's talk to the people we know and get a feel for it. Okay? Okay, letter from Town Clerk regarding vacancy for Paige Memorial Library Trustee. So, Ned Kelly has resigned. We accepted his resignation last time. I intend to bring this up as chair of the library trustees at our next meeting, which is a week from Thursday. And I'll let Ryan describe how we have to go, our options.
So any elected position gets filed with my office, doesn't have to be accepted by you guys, just explaining the rules. So I notify you that there's a vacancy, and I notify the other elected board that there's a vacancy. Your role in this, there's two parts to it. The first is the fact whether or not you wish to have that position put on the next municipal ballot. That's entirely your call. You can say no, and that term would normally be up to 2025. The second part of it is when I notify the Paige trustees that there's a vacancy, their obligation is to then in turn notify you folks within 30 days that there's a vacancy, and after a week's notice, both of your boards, well, the trustees and the select board, can then vote a replacement. Okay, so it's entirely up to the trustees and your board as to whether or not you even wish to put somebody on that board at that time. It can stay vacant. If they don't notify you within the 30 days, then the responsibility falls solely to you, and you have the exclusive right to appoint somebody. So obviously we've talked, and I had talked with Ann, to advise Jim regarding that. So what I'm here for is to find out whether or not you're going to want to have that position on the ballot. We've had other vacancies in the past, Board of Health, School Committee, where there's unexpired terms. It is an elected position, so I think that when there is a vacancy, that there should be an election for the remainder of that term. And it doesn't have to be a special, it can go for
Just
May.
on the next.
On the next one. But if you so choose to do that, you would need to vote and you would need to notify me in writing. And then at that time, I would add it to the
But we
ballot.
could still appoint someone till then.
Oh, absolutely.
But then that would be the end of their term,
That is correct.
their appointment.
So if hypothetically, if you decided to put it on the ballot for 2024, you could appoint somebody in conjunction with the Paige Memorial Library Trustees if they notify you within 30 days. That person would serve until 2024.
Till the election.
And they could run for it.
And they could
And then they
They
could
could run for
if
it
they
as well.
wanted to.
And then
Okay.
it would be a 1-year unexpired term, is what it would be.
And I'd suggest that.
I would make a motion to put the vacancy on the next municipal election.
Second part.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Conservation restriction on North Road.
Good evening. Cynthia Henshaw from the East Quabbin Land Trust. And we have been working with Chester Bronski, who lives up on North Road. He acquired the piece of property, almost 8 acres adjacent to him. It's currently mostly a hayfield. And he would like to see it conserved on into the future. So the plan is for that he will be donating the property to the East Quabbin Land Trust to continue to be managed as a hayfield. And put a conservation restriction on the property which assures that it will remain without a house on into forever, as far as we can tell. So the East Quabbin Land Trust Board has accepted the conservation restriction. We've met with the Conservation Commission. They have accepted holding the conservation restriction. And so the question before the Select Board this evening, the way it works in Massachusetts, is that each community, the Select Board or the mayor, sign off and approve that there is public benefit and public value that goes with the conservation restriction. And then it is signed by the Secretary of Energy and Environmental Affairs to, again, at her level, from the state's level, to say that there's public benefit in having open space and conservation land. So I'm here this evening to ask for your approval and signing off on the conservation restriction. It is mostly prime ag soils, which is a great benefit to have high quality agricultural soils. It's adjacent to the back. The west edge of it is also adjacent to part of the Muddy Brook Wildlife Management Area.
So where exactly is the property? North Road?
It's North Road, so it's past where Thresher crosses, but before the very line. It's on the left-hand side as you go up.
The fields.
Yeah, it's part of, it's not that whole field, but it's
Okay.
part of that field.
Okay.
Yep, goes around the corner. Chet lives at 1771, so
Okay.
it's the field just south of his. There's no number that goes with it.
What is this, I want to ask, being donated to the town or to the East Quabbin Land Trust?
The land is being donated to the East Quabbin Land Trust,
Okay.
and the conservation restriction is being donated to the town.
Okay.
So we're working in partnership to make this happen.
Yeah, no, that's good, I just need to make sure that I know.
This doesn't
what
go
our
on your
land is.
asset list.
Yeah.
Right.
And So, now I've lost track.
Sorry.
Is it in 61 now? Is it under chapter?
I don't actually know. I haven't looked that into that.
Always a good answer.
Always a good answer.
I
I'm
don't
sorry,
know.
I should have looked at it, but I didn't. I don't know.
Sorry.
If they're hanging, it probably is.
Yeah, I would expect, I don't know who owned it, but
Well,
anyway.
Chet Bronski, yeah.
Well, I'm a fan. Goes without saying, so we need a motion to accept.
I move to accept the conservation restriction. Where's the address? You had it somewhere.
Well, the formal address is 0 North Main,
As presented.
North Street, yeah.
As presented.
Well, as
You
presented.
guys have to sign it.
This is the,
The
page to
second?
sign.
Second?
Second.
Oh, you have?
Oh, did you change
I didn't
the
change
shares?
anything.
You need the original sign.
You
Legal?
changed it and gave it back to me, I think. Or no, you know what? You know what?
I think you must have changed it.
My
That's all right.
assistant Sandra changed
You
it,
can
'cause
change
she
that.
has that
That's fine.
software.
We have to do it again?
Nope,
No,
that's good.
it
It's just,
Had the names
it,
accurate.
right, because it takes so long to get through the
Had
state
an old-
approval process.
She probably had old, chairs and
She
people,
did.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, it's done deal.
Thank you. So this is, the original signatures for the other pages are in here.
You can just take it, yeah, and then.
And
give
I'll
me
get
copies.
Ryan to notarize it.
Oh, you're a notary.
Or I can notarize it. if
You're
you
just
want.
watching him do it.
I can notarize it.
You want, yeah, I'm watching you guys do it, that's fine.
No,
Or
I
Ryan,
can
I doubt he's here. I am too, but I mean,
As a
Might
justice,
as well
I
just
can
do it.
notarize.
Do you want to notarize
I
it
do.
Ryan, for the town? You want me to notarize it?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you
I don't
and me,
think it
we can
matters.
notarize
Okay.
everything in
Right?
the world. All right.
Great, I will
Except
happily
our own
notarize it.
Okay.
Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Other new business. Meeting minutes approval. I read them, I can't say anything about April.
I can't say anything about November.
So there you go.
Yeah, I was good with that one. Let me just make sure this. Yeah, I'm good with these. I would make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from April 3rd, 2023 and November 13th, 2023.
Second.
I have to not vote on April.
Oh, want me to separate them?
Please.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from April 3rd, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. And now I also make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from November 13th, 2023.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You guys have-
Fire for,
yeah, the fire, he was late, so you guys usually look at them at the next meeting.
Old business. Other old business. Committee reports. Miscellaneous correspondence.
Do you have any notes or anything? Anything you have to sign, chapter 90, anything like that?
Nope, he signs the warrant alone, so, not alone, but I mean, with me in the account.
I don't mean to trample the town administrator report, but before we lose everybody, I want to go to Selectmen Roundtable, and I have two things to say. I want to thank LeGrant Electric. Carla Grant gave us a lot of help. It was before COVID, maybe 2 or 3 years before COVID, I started chasing a grant for a new generator at the firehouse. And with COVID and everything else, and FEMA would not extend, we lost that grant. And Eagle Hill School donated a generator. And LeGrant spent a lot of time helping me with the specifics. So now we have a generator that works at the firehouse. It's one of the 2 buildings in town that's independent if the power goes out. So I wanted to thank Carl LeGrant about that. And then the poinsettias. I was visiting with a friend of mine today, Charlie Zepp, and he said somebody came up with a poinsettia for him, and he said, "What's this?" And she said, "Well, it's because you're old enough, or you're old."
When you reach a certain age,
I'm sure
Santa
that
and his
person-
elves.
That's right.
It was me that delivered.
I know.
So
And
I
I said,
know.
"So who was that?" And we decided it was you, Kelly. And I just want to say that he loved it.
Oh,
And
well,
we had a long conversation about how we live in a small town, and this is what makes a small town lovely. So thanks for the
that will
poinsettia.
segue into my gigantic thank you for each and every person that contributed to the poinsettias and the deliveries. We raised a phenomenal amount of money this year, so we have surplus for next year again. It's finally running like this, and it's wonderful. And so many people volunteered to deliver, so many hands make light deliveries, which was great. And every person that does it just really enjoys doing it, never mind the people that, get them, so.
And I got a few
Thank
thank yous through email.
I
Through
saw
our
one.
website,
I
yeah,
did
a
see
couple
one.
more came
Yeah,
through.
Nice. Yeah, so.
Okay, well, enough of this love feast. Town administrator report?
So the USDA update, I apologize, it said it's attached, and I did forget to attach the pictures. We went out and looked at it too while they were putting it in, it's really deep, and I ruined my shoes and all that's fine. But now we are putting these weekly updates on the wastewater page, so everybody can see it weekly now that there's progress weekly. And so there's that with the USDA. I'll continue to, copy and paste from Justin, but everything will be up on the wastewater webpage. Ty and Bond will be hosting a public informational meeting for Division of Fisheries and Wildlife on Wednesday, November 29th here at 6:30 regarding the removal of the Patrol Hollow Dam. So with that, I wasn't sure, do you want to have that televised or not? People can just come. Because I could ask Rick to televise it. The only reason they're here is because there was no space at the townhouse, so that isn't even possible to record up there, but I don't know how, I'm not sure the project or if it's that important for us to have it up there.
It's whose meeting is it? DEP?
It's Ty and Bond, but it's for the Division of Fishery and Wildlife.
Right.
Well, ask them.
Oh, okay.
Let's ask them. If you
Yeah.
will you be here?
I have to be here unless, I think if Conservation's gonna be here, then I don't have to be there, but I was the one that said, you can use this room and I'll facilitate, I'll be here. But I think Bill Zinni is gonna be here and then he could be here for the building.
Yeah.
All right.
But if he's not, I'll be
It's
here.
up to them then.
So the electric vehicle, charging station grant was approved. They're out to order right now, so they should be being installed soon. None of ours work, none of the 4 that we have work. Our green community grant was approved. I'm gonna need that signed, and I don't have that with me right now, it wasn't sent to me, so I'll just have to have you guys sign when you get it.
Just let us know.
Yeah, okay,
Stop,
calm down,
yeah.
okay. We're working on the FY23 audit to be done by December 31st as required. Christmas on the Common was yesterday, it was really neat, really fun. Bigger this year, right?
Yes.
It's fun.
Yeah, it was great.
We got $770 for the cookies and gave it to the police
It's
for the
unbelievable. It's
tour
great.
drive.
Amazing. They had a great turnout.
Yeah,
They put a lot of work into that.
they worked hard.
Yeah, they did good.
And they did a good cleanup job.
Yeah, good.
And Marty was wonderful putting up the lights on a Saturday.
The first plow with snow occurred on Wednesday, November 22nd, so here we are, right into that snow and ice.
Mhm.
And so then there's ongoing news. It's just still there.
Perfect.
Any other selectmen?
Oh, I'm sorry, could I say one more thing? We got a letter today. Ryan is now a certified Massachusetts municipal clerk. And out of 351 towns, only 113 have certified clerks. So it's a big deal, and it's good for him, and really good for us too, to have a certified clerk. So congratulations to Ryan.
Ooh, that's great.
Sorry, that's all.
That's all right. Anything else?
Make
To
a
adjourn?
second?
All in favor?
7:45.
Thank you.
Sandy never knows.